Holly, pull. Us, konbanwa. Do you like Holly's haircut? Let me show you. Holly, let's have a look at this. Oh, our puppy dog's had a shave. All done with social distancing, as in we never saw her. We just let her out the front door. She jumped in the van, came back, bald. So Holly's had a haircut. Good evening, good evening. So she's about to go out for a walk, but we thought we'd say hi. Say hi. Good. She's also just had a biscuit. There you go, darling. Good girl. So good evening, welcome to Tuesday evening. You can tell it's Tuesday because Sensei's in front of you, waving a dog around. Welcome back to my dojo, and is our word of the week. Just wanted to give you a quick update on a few things and then get the lesson started. Back's improving, not quite 100% yet. I went for a bike ride earlier this evening, about an hour ago, and it's still problematic. So I'm going to take things about half speed this evening, a little bit slower. We're doing Kumite, which is not good for me because I tend to get really excited when I teach Kumite, particularly Jiyu Kumite, and I might end up putting more pressure on my back than I do. Maybe you can tell me off if I start to get a little bit excitable. Just want to say thank you to the people that were involved on Friday for the Q&A session. I haven't put that on YouTube yet, but I will do later on today or tomorrow. It was really a really nice fun hour. I was asked some very interesting, sometimes challenging questions that made me think as a karateka, an instructor and student of karate. But I really enjoyed the session, so we might do that again in a couple of weeks' time. So if you want to think of different questions, but it was really interesting, asking me about my 30 years plus in martial arts and where I'd been, what I wanted to do and stuff like that. It was really interesting evening. So and 200 people have watched it, so I guess somebody's got to be interested. Okay, got to say some quick highs to everybody. Sensei Andy, Sensei Carl, stars of our new video, which has been put on live about 5:30. It didn't go up at 5 because my schedule post didn't happen when I was on a bike ride. Good evening, Tim, Andrew, good evening, Robot Dojo, Ken, good evening, Sensei Ken, Isaac, Huxtable Clan, Thomason, Alana, good evening, Sensei Andy, again another star of our video, I'll talk about that later. Michaela and Betsy, good evening. Kayla, good evening. The Hartley Dojo, good evening. Caleb, good evening. Evening Logan, hope you're well, young man. And Jen, hope you can join us later because this is going to be a good one. Evening Bron, Dylan, good evening. Good evening Beth. Evening Harry Sensei. Or Harry Sensei. God, Harry, I've promoted you. Sharon Sensei is what I meant to say, but good evening, Harry. I think that'll do for the moment. So, welcome to the dojo and welcome to Tuesday night. So tonight's lesson is going to be Kumite and Jiyu Kumite. So this is fighting Kumite. Okay, so this could be in preparation for people's black belts. Okay, just sparring in the dojo, competitions, that sort of thing. Tonight, because my back's not 100% still, we're going to work on Zuki, so punching, and I'm going to give you 5 combinations to work on. And then Thursday is going to be a really interesting lesson because I'm going to get then to show you the opposite side of that. So what if someone attacked you with these 5 techniques stroke combinations? Okay, so there will be an opposing view, I guess, on Thursday. So again, I try not to make this too complicated. I try to make it for all levels of karateka. That's my intention. Keeping it relatively slow and basic, and then everybody will be able to follow. You can train at your own speed, depending on how you're feeling, etc., and how you're doing at the moment. So, without further ado, let's get going. We'll do a standing bow again. I'm still not comfortable doing the kneeling bow, unfortunately, with my back. It's not the going down, it's the coming up. There's something that I've done to the bottom of base of my spine. I'm not sure what it is, but it's happened before. It just needs time. Okay, so standing bow. So kyotsuke. So heels together, toes pointing out. Musubudachi, and hands just drop and relax by your side. And ready. And up we come. Okay, good. Anyway. Okay, so just warming the arms up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, cool, and you, and backwards, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, sich, hach, cool, jo. Okay, left arm forward, right arm back, ich, ni, san, shi, go, and change, rock, sich, hach, cool, jo. Okay, left arm figure of 8, ich, ni, san, shi, go, right arm, ich, ni, san, shi, go. Both arms out, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, shish, hach, ko, jo. Crossing, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, shish, hach, ko, and jo. Okay, take the right arm across and stretching, ich, ni, san, shi, go. And putting down, ich, ni, san, shi, go. Left arm, ich, ni, san, shi, go. And right arm, ich, ni, san, shi, go. Okay, stretching wrists, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, shish, hach, ko, jo. Okay, relaxing nice and fast. So we're going to push out, okay, 10 times, then we'll go to the side, 10 times, and we go up, 10 times. This is really good for relaxing your kata, your shoulders, okay, because this is a really key, important part of what we're doing this evening. Jiyu Kumite, any flinch will give away to your opponent what you potentially are going to do, or movement that is forthcoming. So it's really important to keep control of your body and learn how to control it. So we need to relax more than ever this evening. Okay, so ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, shish, hach, ko, jo. Okay, shoulders down. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, shish, hach, ko, jo. And ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, shish, hach, ko, jo. So even when our arms are up, we can just relax our shoulders. This is my shoulders up, and this is my shoulders relaxed. So the shoulders stay relaxed. Talking about this for 7 or 8 weeks now, however long we've been in lockdown, I've been really focusing on the shoulders in my own personal karate, and I'd like you to do the same as well. Okay, so all three, ich, ni, san, ich, ni, san, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, sich, hach, ko, and ju, and relax. Okay, good. So just take your body and swivel your hips. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, shi, hach, ko, jo. Okay, and twisting. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, sich, hach, ko, ju. Doing that slowly because of my back. Okay, arms up and over to your right. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. And slowly back. Ich, ni, san, shi, and go. And back. Okay, that should be the top half of the body done. Okay, so just quick maigeri type flicking, kicking, not through maigeri, but just relaxing the lower legs, relaxing the lower part of the body. So, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, sich, hach, ko, hanju. Just gets the blood going. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, sich, hach, ko, hanju. Okay, hips around. Also gives me a chance to practice my back, and it's still not right. Okay. And Kyotsuke, right? Okay, straighten your knees, knees. And ready, os. Hey, okay, so we start with a very simple technique. Most important thing before we start, though, really is our stance. So Jiyu Kumite, we're not using a strong, long Zenkutsudachi basic stance that we would do normally in the dojo when we're doing Kihon, okay? So hopefully we're going to stay within the screen here, so I'll come back a bit further. But if this is my Zenkutsudachi, okay, this is my front stance in the dojo, so if I put in my hand in Gidanburai or Gyakuzuki position here, you see that this has good length, okay? This is not as low as we used to go back in sort of early days when I first started karate, but Jiyu Kumite is done in Judachi. So Judachi meaning fighting, so bring the stance back, so you want to bring it back about your foot length, depending on how big your feet are, obviously. So not too long, but likewise, it's not upright, it's not here. There are other styles of karate that fight very, very upright, but Shotokan karate, we tend to still keep a good stance, because Judachi, whilst being shorter than Zenkutsudachi, still has all the basic elements, and most importantly the basic strength. So this stance needs to be not as long because it makes us too slow. So shorten it by that foot length. Okay, and then take the weight out of the legs. Okay, so don't force your knee over your big toe and push down like you would in Zen Kutsudachi. Don't straighten and lock your back leg like you would maybe in Zen Kutsudachi. This is much more about dropping and relaxing. Okay, then what we do is we learn how to use our muscles to contract, which is shime, I think in Japanese, to propel ourselves forwards or backwards and have body movement, tai sabaki. So it's really important to understand that this is a different type of karate. Okay, it's much freer, and for some I think it's very hard to suddenly relax, having been taught to be so long and so strong. But for others, for me, it was really the best thing that ever happened to me. It helped my karate massively. And I think I said to you before that, and certainly on Friday I told people that as a red belt I was whooping black belts all over the place because I was good at this naturally. But I think it's a difficult thing and it's not easy for everybody, I think is what I'm trying to say. And please don't think that I whoop black belts all the time, because I got whooped a lot as well. I got beaten more times than I probably ever care to remember. But that's not the point. The point of Kumite is that it should be good, it should be fun, and it needs to be relaxed. So you're going to have this stance. This stance is quick and fast to move, as long as you start to learn how to use these muscles, okay? And we're talking lower leg muscles. So your hamstrings, your glutes, your gluteus maximus, your gastrocnemius, that's what I'm trying to point at, and your quads, okay? So we're going to use all of those different muscles this evening to move ourselves. Okay, so first technique is nice and simple, Gyakuzuki. But again, strip away the basic Gyakuzuki. Basic Gyakuzuki, your Fongi Danbarai, nice long stance, arm out, straight punch. We are moving away from that, so we're shortening our stance, okay? And we're using more hip, okay? More flexion. More flexion is probably the right word. Okay, so I'm going to do this, so I'll show you each technique face on, so coming towards you. Okay, and I will do it also side on so that you're able to see it, and we'll do right and left side. I'll probably just mix and match because I'm very balanced in Kumite, so I'm 50-50. So I'll just swap sides. If I try to remember, I'll tell you if I'm left on or my right side to help you learn, I hope. It says me talking to myself completely on my own in my kitchen. Okay, so stepping down Gidanbarai to start with, so here, and then just so you get used to this Kamae position, fighting position, Judachi. Okay, your guard is important, okay? Your guard should never be low like this, and it should never be up here. You need to still be protecting yourself. So as a rule of thumb, keeping the shoulders down, and the shoulders, as I said earlier, are really important. The front fist, okay, and it is a fist, is in line with your chin, okay, and your embusu. Your second fist, your lower fist, is in line with your solar plexus. Okay, so this position here, and you're following your performance line. So should I need to punch, should I need to do that, both of these follow the performance line. If my hands, however, okay, your hands are half facing, hanmi, so they're sort of half twisted, so they can rotate to us. Okay, but if my guard is here, and I want to go to you in the middle there, I have to move. So then I'm bastardising my technique. I don't even know if that's a word, I've been using it for years. But what I'm doing is I'm twisting and manipulating my technique, but I'm also most importantly making it slower. And that's not good karate. So we need to make sure this is a straight line, this is a straight line. So your guard is really important. If your guard is down here, your arms are going to have to come somewhere back here. Whether they curve in, okay, whether you bring them back to punch. As soon as you move, remember, in a Kumite match or sparring in the dojo, your opponent knows what you're doing. Okay, and I think initially I was quite good at Kumite, just being quite fast, okay, because I was very skinny and very tall. But actually, when you start then to fight black belts, quality black belts, people who are good at Kumite, so I fought a couple of world champions previously, whose brain is different to ours, it's configured differently. Those sorts of athletes are switched on to look and find the smallest part of you that is going to make a suggestion that you're going to move, and then they've got you. And I studied this for years and got better at it, and I definitely later on in my Kumite years, I think I probably won more after the age of 30 than I did before, which is crazy, but actually you start to see more. And it is more about the vision than it is about anything else, and seeing what your opponent does and your body reactions to that. So you would need to keep your movement around yourself as minimal as possible when against your opponent. Two ways of thought process on this, so keeping that guard in that correct position, okay? You can bounce up and down. I'm getting old, I'm 50 now, don't bounce around so much. Or you can stay static. But if you're staying still, you stay still, and you don't move until you explode, and then you explode like a rocket. So you need to make sure, okay, that you find out where you sit in all of this. And this is a journey, this is an excellent journey, and I've changed, and I like changing. I like going from one to the other and changing to a passive, aggressive, passive Kumite fighter. And I like to challenge myself, make things more complicated and difficult, I think, all the time. It's like having a game of chess, but with people, real people, and it's good fun. Harry Potter's about the closest I've ever got to it before. Okay, so we're in this stance, nice and relaxed, okay, and we're just going to do Gyakuzuki. So Gyakuzuki, reverse punch, everyone knows it's my favourite punch. Okay, so from here, rather than bringing the hand back to the hip, okay, to Koshi, we are just going to push from where we are. And so because our body is nice and relaxed, we're going to deliver the punch straight down the centre and move the front foot forward, so we close the distance. So we're able to push together. Now everything connects. Connection together. So as you move, your punch is moving with you. So as that foot starts to travel, okay, you push with the punch. So the delivery is different. The delivery from here, we rotate the hip, okay, to form a nice strong basic Gyakuzuki. From here, we're pushing the hip forwards. We're driving the hip through with the back leg. Okay, so the back leg is bending. So pushing here, driving. And this makes distance. This enables you to get closer to your opponents because you're driving forwards. So you're not doing basic technique here with the heel on the floor as we would do normally. You're driving through. You're coming down. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And this punch can be Chudan or Jodan. Both are very effective. I think it takes a time to master a Jodan technique from Kumite because you're going towards someone's face. Always a little bit scary, for them especially, but for you if you connect. You know, these bleed, this bleeds a lot, especially mine. So we need to be mindful of that, okay? And maybe sometimes subconsciously that overtakes our mind. So a good first punch then from a Kumite perspective is just a nice long Gyakuzuki there. So just punching Gyakuzuki, we're just creating a little bit of space here. Okay, so remember it's less formal. We're not doing Gidan-Barai all the time. Okay, we're much less formal now. Judachi, slightly shorter stance. Okay, but as you push the punch, the front foot extends and you deliver and you come back. Okay, and the reason you learn how to come in and back, okay, so movement, tai sabaki, is so you don't get hit. Okay, so the delivery of the punch needs to hit the opponent. And Us Massimo, good evening. Us. Massimo is a great fighter, a great fighter from Italy. Okay, so he won the Sky Championships in 2018 because I was competing, Massimo. So Gyakuzuki, hey, and then back. So relax the shoulders, get the body into the position where we're nice and relaxed, and punch, and punch, and punch. And I'm already getting excited and my back is already starting to hurt, so I need to just take it down a step. So from here, we'll go for 5 punches on the right hand, so each, hey, and back. And knee, and back. San, and back. Shi, and back. I go, yeah, and back. Okay, jump stance, we'll change legs. But good to be balanced in karate, as I've said before, so it's good to have both sides. Remember your front stance, not so long, a little bit shorter. Okay, keep the legs nice and relaxed. So punching Gyakuzuki, ish, and back. Ni, and back. San, hey back. Shi, hey back. Oh, yeah! Hey, and so it's about learning to relax more than it is anything else. when you've got an injury, a bit like myself, your brain says tense. Your brain says tense, protect. Okay, but actually the best thing we can do for our bodies when we get an injury is to relax. So I've got a muscle spasm in the lower part of my back, and that's where the muscles have just gone and they're locked together. What I need to do is, by manipulating them to a point with stretching, etc., is to learn them to relax again. Learn them to relax until ultimately they're free again and they're able to twist and move. And it's getting there, but I've got to be honest, it takes an awful long time. I've not had any osteopathy this time, and doing it myself, I'm amazed at how much time I'm having to spend to stretch just to make an improvement in just over a week. Okay, so technique 2 then, we'll build on what we've just done. So we've done just a basic Kumite Gyakuzuki, so here, Gyakuzuki, come back, okay. So now we do double combination technique, 2 techniques together. Okay, so this one's good for me, and I've been very successful with this. Kizamizuki, okay, is the jab, the front punch. Okay, some people will call it a lunge punch as well, a bit like Oizuki, Chudan or Jodan. For me, it's very, very effective Jodan. Okay, this punch, Kizami Chudan, for me, I've never scored with it ever in a competition, and I've never had anybody say that's a good punch. But some instructors may say differently, I'm sure. So important then for this hand, okay, to be at our height that we need to be, optimum height, and we're just jabbing to the chin. Just poking, okay. I've started to grow a little tiny beard. I thought I'd be like Carl Sensei. He's a very distinguished karateka with facial hair, and I thought I'd go along with him just to, while we're in lockdown. So we're going to jab punch, but we're not going to just jab punch, okay? Because in a competition or in sparring in the dojo, or for instance going for your black belt, that sort of thing, okay, yes, you can score from this technique really fast, so you just relax the arm, and it's a very powerful technique, but it's also very good to make the person jump and come alive. No one likes that, okay? No one likes a fist in the face. So it's important then to use that to create reaction in your opponent. Once your opponent blinks, and they will blink, okay, then you yak them. Okay, so this front punch is almost like a feint designed to get their guard to come up, okay, or at least to make them tense. If they tense, they're going to be slower to block, so then you score your technique with a Gyakuzuki. And you could do any technique, but we're doing a Gyakuzuki to make it harder. Okay, so from here, the front hand Kizamizuki, the second hand, remember, is already here, geared up to go. Gyakuzuki. So Jodan, Chudan. Like so, So front hand here. So you don't bring the hand back. You can, but as soon as you do this, your opponent knows what you're going to do. So it's better to just relax, and just let it go. Let it go. So, but like a firework. So from here, so Kizamizuki, Gyakuzuki. Okay, Kizamizuki, Gyakuzuki. Kizamizuki, Gyakuzuki. And then you can make them into, almost bleed into one technique. Kizami Gyak. Okay, and that will be dependent upon your opponent's reaction to you. If their arms come up or they tense up, you have a point where you might be able to score through their block because their block's weak. Okay, and score on the chin, or you may be able to indeed catch them with the second punch, the Gyakuzuki. If you hit with both punches, you're doing well. Doing very well. Okay, so change legs. So again, Kizami Gyakuzuki. Think about this line. What's good in a Kumite match is if you're square onto your opponent, you give them a big target area. So I tend to sit more in line. Now yes, this stance is more susceptible to a sweep, an ashibarai, okay, where someone takes your leg. But actually, I found that if you just drop your weight on your front leg, that's not going to happen. Okay, it's generally when you're moving backwards that the sweep will happen. Okay, and at that point you should be moving backwards. I have an answer for everything. I wish it all worked as easy as that. So here, Kizamizuki, Gyakuzuki. Okay, so push through here, and punch. So from here, push one, punch two. Push 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, change sides. 1, 2. I'm having to change. You don't have to change. I'm changing because of my back. Okay, I've just realised that it pulls far harder on the left side, which is where most of the pain is. So I hope that little combination makes sense. We'll do 3 times on the right side. Okay, and so when we say right side, we mean right attack. When we say left side, we mean left attack. Remember, right in Japanese is migi, okay, and left side is hidari. Okay, so migi. So here, pushing, don't bring this hand back. Pushing, punching. Hip still delivers here, because this draws the hip back to push this punch in. Hope that makes sense. So three times, ich, ni. Try to connect everything together. Sun. Hey, change legs. Okay, so nice and relaxed again. Get this guard correct. So 1, 2, and 3. Hey, change legs. Hanyame. And Ray. Okay, just move your hips round, get your breath back. The dojo is very warm this evening. My daughter's been cooking. Cooking's the right word. Our dinner for this evening. So should be good afterwards. I'll build up an appetite, put it that way. Okay, so just again stretching over to your right. This is more for my benefit than you. My back is starting to seize up, and this is a good stretch. Oh, it's making lots of clicky noises, which is always a good thing. Okay, so we'll double up a technique, gyakuzuki. Okay, so gyakuzuki, the first one is a chudan gyakuzuki, so to the stomach, and the second punch is a jodan gyakuzuki. Okay, so again, these are techniques that I've used successfully, both in the dojo, in competitions and gradings, etc, etc. They're not difficult to do. They're difficult to master. The big thing with Kumite is it's all about timing and your connection with your opponent. That's a big thing. And I don't think I actually got that really, that whole connection with my opponent until sort of later on in my karate life. As I say, probably more successful as an older fighter than as a younger one maybe, I don't know. But I had a lot of injuries as a young one. That put me out for quite a bit of a time. So yeah, I don't know. So gyakuzuki, so back into the kumai position, or judachi. Okay, so gyakuzuki, let's step back a little bit here. Okay, so gyakuzuki, keep that here, and then come through. Gyakuzuki. Okay, so the first punch again is designed to cause reaction. Okay, so gyakuzuki, then step through gyakuzuki. I need to slow down. It's starting to hurt me. So I do enjoy this too much, that's the trouble. So gyakuzuki, yeah, you're maybe too short from your opponent, too short. So they think, well, I've got that covered. They block down, you come in with a jodan gyakuzuki. Okay, and you want to try and close that gap as quickly as possible. So try not to step into the dog bowl, because that's got food in it. So you come in here and step through. I know that will go out shot, but it gives you an idea of where we're at. So I'll try and do it from this angle here as much as I can. So the gyakuzuki here, step through gyakuzuki. You must maintain the same height. You must maintain the same height, otherwise your opponent will know what you're doing. Okay? But the thing about it is gaining the speed towards them. So I guess if you look at me here, I have no idea if this will work or not. So this is my first gyakuzuki. My second one is it kept at the same height, and you won't see it until the fist is in your face. I hope that makes sense, and I hope it comes across on camera. Just going to quickly check that. Yeah, it's pretty good. Sorry that you get my ugly face so close, but it gives you an idea of what I mean. Transferring distance in on a tatami, okay, which is usually 8 meters squared, okay, can be quite challenging for you as a karateka, because you know, 8 meters is quite a big area, but also your body movement can give away exactly what you're about to do. So we have to transfer ourselves, our bodies, in a much more simpler, flowing way than we would do maybe with our basics. With our basics, we're very bang, 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 aren't we, in Shotokan? But in Kumite, it needs to flow more. So we need to flow, and we only make contact. We're in a kime on point of contact, and of course you must have good control. That's really important. So we'll just do a couple of these. So right, Hey, you always step down, Jiyu Kumite, here. Okay, so from here, so Gyakuzuki, hey Gyakuzuki, and then move back. Now I'm covering, I reckon I've got 3 metres in front of me here, and I'm covering 3 metres. Okay, my record in the dojo is covering about 6, so I can travel towards people on this one, and you can too. You just need to learn how to relax your body. Okay, so again, Gyakuzuki, hey Gyakuzuki, and back. Change legs. Okay, so again, so from this position here, just extend that front leg, push in, Gyakuzuki, keep the same height, Gyakuzuki. Once more, keep your line, Gyakuzuki, bend that back leg, make sure this leg is bent as much as you can. I struggle on this foot because I've broke my toes too many times. I'm not a good advert for Kumite in some ways, especially when I told you what I've broken. So Gyakuzuki, come in here, Gyakuzuki. Okay, so Gyakuzuki. Some people think it wouldn't work, but it does. It does. It's all about playing with your opponent's mind. Putting that in with those other 2 combinations that I've just taught will make your opponent's brain start to be thinking different things. Key thing in Kumite is to get their brain disjointed with them. Okay, if you can enter their head and mess around with it a little bit, which is what I used to like doing, and I've been messed around with, trust me, by people far, far better than me. Those are the fights that you remember because you just think, well, how on earth did they do that? And then when you go back and work it out, they got inside your head. They got inside your head. Not the physical thing, more the mental thing, I think. Okay, so recap then, just on those first 3. You have 2 more to do this evening. So, us, hayoi, and step down, judachi, ich, ya. Check your stance. You don't need to look down. This is just a nice informal stance, but just sink the body down, let gravity do its work. Make sure your hara is nice and low. Okay, so just simply Gyakuzuki, Chudan, and again, Gyakuzuki. Okay, 1 more. Okay, and then second technique was Kizami Gyakuzuki. Kizami Gyakuzuki. Try to connect the front foot and the hand together, and I didn't just then, so push them in together. It's that connection point is not so easy, okay? Together. And then our last one we just did was Gyakuzuki, Jodan Gyakuzuki. So Chudan Gyodan, Chudan Gyodan. Okay, so here, move forwards faster, stronger, better, always trying to improve. Gyakuzuki, Gyakuzuki. So changing on the other side now, stepping down Judachi, Ichiya. Okay, when I come down Judachi, I always do Kiwais. I'm being a little bit reserved this evening, I think. But you know me normally. Normally it's a Kiwai straight in the face of the opponent to electrify them, to spark them up. So technique 1, Gyakuzuki, Gyakuzuki, hey Gyakuzuki. And technique 2, Kizami Gyakuzuki, Kizami Gyakuzuki, Kizami Gyakuzuki. And then finally technique 3, on the left side, Hidari, Gyakuzuki, come through, Gyakuzuki. Hey, Gyakuzuki, hey, Gyakuzuki. Hey, Gyakuzuki, Gyakuzuki. Hey, of course. One of the things that I pride myself on as being one of the better elements of my karate is my attention to my target and point of impact. So making sure that I think of my opponent health and well-being, never wishing to want to hurt them. And I think that's really, really important thing, and control with that. Okay, so making sure you have that, so that if you do connect incorrectly, okay, maybe the person moved forward, maybe you stumbled or lost your balance, because it does happen, especially with big kicks, okay, like moshigeri, stuff like that, then you need to be able to retract your technique really quickly. You can only do that if you have good balance, but also good control. So if we're tensed, like a piece of concrete, okay, or a rod, iron bar, etc., We are not going to retract this quickly. We are going to hit our opponent, and we're going to hit them hard, and we're going to hurt our opponent. And you don't want to be that person in the dojo. You don't want to be that person that no one wants to spar with. You want to be that person that everybody's like, oh, I want to go against him or her because they're amazing. Okay, so we have some really excellent juniors that are very quick. So I like to challenge myself and go with the juniors. It's not because I'm scared of the older black belts, okay? It's because the juniors keep me on my toes. They make me more active. The black belts, they'll give you a different challenge because their challenge comes from here. So they're sly old foxes, and they will be thinking, whereas the young ones aren't so. The young ones are a bit more gung-ho, so it's good to get a balance of practicing against different people. Male or female, it makes no difference. I tend to find that the women in the dojo are slightly more aggressive, if that helps you at all with your kumite. Okay, number four, Gyakuzuki Uraken. Okay, Gyakuzuki Uraken, this can be done in a couple of ways, so we'll do both, because again, I like it. So, rei, os, hei oi, and step down Judachi. Ichiya! Okay, so, nice simple to start then, this Gyakuzuki. Okay, and now we're just going to attack this part of the face. Okay, so, I don't know what you call that, but I call it something funny, which most people won't get. And then a nice back fist. Now I'm making that big so you can see what it looks like. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily need to bring it all the way back there, but you'll see what it comes through. So Gyakuzuki, Urakenuchi. Uraken is back fist. We've done this the last few weeks on different lessons, I know. This is a good technique. It's safer than the Kazamazuki to the face or the Gyakuzuki to the face because it's not going to the open face. It's going to the side or the cheeky bit. Okay, so less fearful, I think, for the attacker to think, well, if I don't control it, it's not going to cause massive amounts of blood, that sort of terrible thing, etc. So again, Gyakuzuki here, okay, Urakenuchi. So if you bring your hand back here, okay, this then shows your opponent what you're going to do, because it's obvious that it's coming. So we don't need to do that. It's good to show you, okay? But here, Urakenuchi. So, Urakenuchi. Okay? So, Gyakuzuki, Urakenuchi. And again, I think on this one here, if I could, I'd score with the Gyakuzuki. Okay, I'd make sure the Gyakuzuki worked first, because I don't need to get too close to my opponent. But again, the Gyakuzuki, if the person's arms drop, okay, and they come down, then I want to come in with my Uraken straight away. And you notice that I'm just switching stances, trying to make sure my back doesn't go completely off. So you can pull back here, but you do show your opponent your next hand, as it were. So sometimes it's better to just keep it here. Keep it covered. Then you can move in and go fast. So nice. Gyakuzuki, Urakenuchi. Urakenuchi. Makes a great noise if you get this to connect beautifully. I'm just going to put that out there. So, Gyakuzuki, Urakenuchi. Gyakuzuki, Urakenuchi. Okay, so that's using both hands. Both hands. However, another way of doing this combination is using the same hand. So the same hand that gyaks is the same hand that does the Uraken. Okay, so from this position here, step down Judachi. Yeah! Okay, so Gyakuzuki here. Now here, I want to bring the hand back. Because what I'm saying to my opponent is, I'm going to get you with my Gyakuzuki. And they're thinking the Gyakuzuki's coming, and all of a sudden, I'm using the same hand to gyak them, Uraken them. Okay, so I'll show you again. So here, this says to them, this is going to come at you next. So it's like dealing a false hand. So here, yeah, and then using the same hand to attack your opponent. I find that works really well. And what I do is, if I was doing a kumite fight now, okay, and I was using these 5 combinations only, then I'd be mashing them up. I'd be doing right side and left side, I'd be doing a mixture of both, I'd be changing hands, I'd be jumping stance, I'd be moving my legs around all the time. And now the idea of that is to confuse you as my opponent, and to make you unsure, unfooted, and deregulate your brain. I don't know whatever ways I'm trying to say there, but basically get inside your head, and then it's fun time. It's fun time. So here, do all hand, and then you reckon. It's a fast technique. It's a very fast technique, and again, good control, not a problem with that. Likewise, you can just deliver the Gyakuzuki halfway and launch yourself through your opponent. Apologies, I'm getting close to the camera there. When I say close, we're talking millimetres now. So Gyakuzuki here, don't quite put it in, Yurakunuchi. Gyakuzuki here, Yurakunuchi here. Gyakuya. So you can see that this flows lovely on either way. So back to technique, or the first part, part A, we'll call it part A. So this is a Gyakuzuki, okay? So Gyakuzuki here, change the arm, step through your Yurakan. You step through, you step through. So your Gyakuzuki is here, your Yurakan is here. It's a Gyaku Yurakan. So that's a reverse Yurakan. When we say Gyaku, meaning reverse, opposite side. So this is Oizuki, same leg, same arm, the same side, and this is Gyaku. Gyaku is the opposite side. Gyaku Yurakan is opposite side. And that's what we're doing in this one. So we're doing Gyakuzuki, Yurakan, Gyaku, Gyaku opposite side. Yeah. Okay, so hope that makes sense. Sensei George from Greece. Good evening. I hope you're well. Good to see you. Okay, so I'm just going to see. I love when people do typos. Andy. Good evening. Instead of oops. Good evening, Joe. Stuart. How are you doing, young man? Oh, Jen, you've made it. Well done, you. Good on you. Okay. Remember, all these classes are catch-ups on the Facebook page live, or we put them on YouTube as well, so you can have a butchers at them later on. You can put them in slow speed and see my ugly face to whatever your pleasure is. So here, so Gyakuzuki, Yurakan. So that's a switch, Gyaku, Gyaku. Okay, and in the second one, Gyakuzuki, same arm, Yurakan. Same arm. Really important, same arm. And this would change mid-fight, okay? So this would change. What I would tend to do would be throw some techniques at my opponent to get an understanding of where they are, maybe where their imbalance is, and then I'd pick on the side where the imbalance is. So if they're clearly right-handed, I'm going to switch them to the left side. And the reason I can do that is that I'm left-handed. Okay, so I said to you before, I'm very lucky to be able to be, in terms of fighting, equally balanced. It's a massive advantage. It's a massive advantage to be able to do that. If you look at boxers, you know, those who used to fight southpaw would be quite problematic for a normal regular boxer. Orthodox, I think is the word. So in Kumite, I found that being able to change and twist all the time, okay, and some fights I'd all fight completely left-handedly, other fights just completely right-handedly, and then when you get towards the latter stages of a competition, or you're challenging somebody really difficult who's very good, probably much better than you, that's when you start to switch things up. So it's good to have that balance in your Kumite all the time. Okay, so Gyakuzuki, same arm, Yurakan Uchi. Again. Gyakuzuki Yurakan Uchi. Now you can shorten your gyak to speed up your Yurakan. Okay, so you can kind of come here. Okay, so that's more of a feint. Okay, but I think you go for it on the first technique. Yeah, I think you get more reaction out of your opponent. Okay, than feinting all the time and just throwing your hands around, which can be quite annoying. Then if you can score this first technique, you score with the first technique. But if you don't score the first technique, you continue. Sukate, I think is continue in Japanese. Sukate, 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 sukate. Continue, 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 continue. And that's my mindset in Kumite, is to continue going, uh-oh, the dog is back. And she's been let free. This is where when she comes in for a walk, she goes a little bit crazy. So we might see her in the dojo in a second. Apologies for that. Hori-san! Us. Konnichiwa. Oh, that's it. she's gone straight for the dog food and ignored me. Okay, so, oh, thank you, wifey, for putting the lights on. I can now see again. So, I hope that technique makes sense. So, just a quick recap. Gyakuzuki. Okay. Gyakuzuki, step through your Rakunuchi. Gyakuzuki, your Rakunuchi, same arm. Same arm. You'll notice that sometimes I pull my hand back, sometimes I leave my hand there, sometimes I drop my hand. All of that is to mess around with your opponent's head. Okay? There isn't a right or a wrong way with Jiyu Kumite, and I think that's the really good thing. And, Us! You okay, Holly-san? Yes, just going to ignore you. Okay. So, change your legs. Us. Move. Move. No, don't sit that you are going to sit there. So, Gyakuzuki, step through Uraken. Oh, you so nearly got wiped out then, dog. So, Gyakuzuki, same arm. Oh dear. Gyakuzuki Rakunuchi. Yeah, all the love hearts come now as soon as Holly enters the room. Brilliant, I love that. Okay, so on the left side, Gyakuzuki, change legs and arms, Rakunuchi. I think we have covered that on both sides, so everybody hopefully understands that. Okay, so our fifth and final technique for this evening then, this is going to be great because I might have an opponent in terms of Holly, okay, because this involves Ashi Barai. Okay, Ashi Barai is leg sweep, okay, Ashi being leg, Barai meaning sweep. She just waltzes around like she owns the place. Okay, so let me get the dog out. Hilarious dog. Okay, so she's just looked at me in disgust because I've let the door open and then she's just laid down, and I'm not having that. She can just sit there. Okay, so we are going to do our final one, which involves the Ashi Barai. You have to use your imagination with Ashi Barai without an opponent, and you need to start to think about the connection point here. So, again, starts with a very simple Gyakuzuki technique. Okay, so step down Jidachi. Okay, so think of going in for a nice long Gyakuzuki. So you're building up the tension between the two of you, you're moving, changing stance, maybe looking at each other, okay, trying to gauge where you need to attack next, okay, and what you do is you bang in the long Gyakuzuki, and you really do extend. So I don't think we can show you here, but you're going to launch yourself through, and launch yourself towards them, commit, and if you don't commit 100% it does not work. I've proved that to myself too many times. So you commit to this long Gyakuzuki. Okay? So you're committed here, take the front leg, and then you gap them again. Okay? You can get Chudan or Jodan, it makes no difference. So they literally, they will move back ever so slightly. Okay? If you're going to be close enough and you commit, you basically make them uneasy, and they will move back ever so slightly, look at the stance, take the front leg, and as they go down, gap them. Okay, you might even need to gap them, you might toshi them, which is again here. So you punch here, take the leg, and yeah, you finish them off on the floor. Won't do that again, that hurt my back. But I hope you understand that technique. So I'm going to slow it right down for you. Okay, so we do it from bowing position here, step down, Jidachi, ich, yeah. Okay, so Gyakuzuki here, but keep your weight to a point where you can use the front leg, yeah, and then finish with Gyakuzuki. Don't look at the floor when you Ashi Barai. Okay, when you Ashi Barai somebody, you look at them. Best place is here, right in the eyes. Okay, so you have to have this peripheral vision that we've talked about previously. And for me, let the dog out. Outside. Okay, is it wrong to getting your dog outside? I don't know. You can be the judge of that. So, important to look at your opponent because they don't know what your legs are doing then. If you engage them in the eyes, here, okay, they're looking here, then you take the front leg and then you finish. Okay, whether it be Gyakuzuki Chudan, Gyakuzuki down, Gidan to the floor because you've swept them because they're off balance, okay, or hitting them on the way down. I had this done to me at British International Championships once in Crystal Palace, about 1,000 spectators. My first match, got a world champion in my first match, always helpful. And everyone said, watch his Mawashigeri. So sure enough, I watched his Mawashigeri, which was ridiculously fast. Okay, and he did this to me. He did this to me. He literally just went in for the gyak. I went to put my hand down, and before I knew it, the legs had gone. I was in the air floating, and I was hit twice before it hit the deck. And shook his hand afterwards and went, wow, thanks for the lesson, that was good. But actually, that's exactly what actually where I should be like. It should be so that you don't know it's happened. Unfortunately, it's too late once it's happened. So we come in this position nice and relaxed here. So we're yakking in here, taking the front leg and yakking again. Gyakuzuki in here, sweep the front leg and Gyakuzuki here. So up or down makes no difference. You choose your attacking area, if that makes sense. So again, put in the Gyakuzuki. This pushes the person back like me now. Okay, so I'm off my front leg. My weight distribution has changed. So I was here previously where you wouldn't sweep my front leg because this is just too strong. Okay, unless you come round the back, I'm not going to give you that opportunity because I let people do that. Okay, but as soon as you push me back here, my weight has gone onto my back leg, and I would say 80%, maybe more. Take the front leg. Take the front leg. So if it's a given, you take it. So it's really important that you work on timing with this. This doesn't work if the person is in a strong stance. Again, you go into the Gyakuzuki, you see they're in this really good strong stance with their weight on their front leg as like a Zenku, so actually 70-30%, 70% here. You think, whoa, and you come back. You don't think here, because if you try to take that leg, you will then be finding you are probably going to be imbalanced, okay, and you will rotate yourself about and they'll get you. So you have to see it from both sides. Before we commit to a technique in Kumite, we have to see what our opponent's reaction is potentially going to be and visualise that. And all of this has to be done in microseconds. I used to visualise all my fights. My black belts always laugh and tell a story. I used to have these amazing dreams the night before championships, and then I used to go there and the reality was nothing like the dreams. Nothing like the dreams. But actually having that visualisation during a match comes, I think, with time. And I used to fight in London a lot on almost a weekly basis, just trying to build up that knowledge bank. And I mean, I'll be honest, getting beaten every weekend. Some championships you do well, others you wouldn't. It was all a learning thing, and that's what makes you good, is to keep learning. Okay, I'm just going to quickly read. Someone's put a couple of comments up here. Do you match front legs and sweep from the outside of the opposite stance and take from the inside? I have no idea what that means, Mark. Do you match the front legs? Yeah, ideally. So if their right foot, if my left foot's forwards, okay, I need their right foot here. So this is where you start to switch your opponent around. So for me, traditionally, people like to be the opposite to you. So if your left leg's forward, their left leg is forward. But if you can change stance quickly and switch them, okay, they sometimes lose track, and then when they're in line, that's when you do this because the front leg's there. If I've got left foot forward and they've got left foot forward, I'm then going to the inside of the leg. Now you can front leg actually right from the front and the person coming. I think it's a little bit more difficult, but it's down to timing. And I've done it successfully and I've done it badly. Okay, so important. Good question. Made me think though. Where were you on Friday when we were doing our questions? Okay, can you use your back leg to sweep? Not in this case, no. So don't start thinking about that. We'll do more sweep lessons at some point, but we're not using our back leg to sweep. You won't get away with it, it's too slow. So it's important, it's a good question, okay, but using this leg to sweep, the opponent will just bring their foot back. Okay, so what you want to do is create this reaction that makes them jump. If you then come through with this leg to try and sweep that front leg, they will remove back quick. It's not quick enough. I hope that makes sense. So here, sweep, and here. Okay, so sweep, yeah. You have to be a little bit close, clever. So punch here, sweep, and then yeah. I can't do it fast. I just realised, yeah, that's too much. So I hope that makes sense. You can't use your back leg in this particular instance. You can use your back leg on many other occasions. So good question, but no. Bron, you can suit your brother if your mother agrees and there are lots of pillows around, but please don't say that I said that. Safety first. Sensei Mark, that's what you meant. Of course you did. Everyone knows what you meant after you've explained what you've meant. Okay, so Gyakuzuki, take the front leg, Gyakuzuki. Gyakuzuki, take the front leg, Gyakuzuki. No, I don't look at my leg when I take the front leg. I have this peripheral vision of my opponent all the time. Some sensei believe that you should look straight in the person's eyes to see everything you need to know about them. My sensei always taught me a really good one, I thought. Bridge of the nose, the shoulders across. It's like a coat hanger, a triangle. Okay, and I agree with him in the fact that actually that is very, very good because it picks up the whole body. Okay, you can see the eyes twitch, you can see everything move. I think when you look into someone's eyes, they can play tricks on you, and so sometimes yes, sometimes no. People will disagree with me on that, I'm sure. Some people like to just look straight in the eyes. I hope that all makes sense. So just to recap slowly. Okay, so step down Judachi. Ich, so technique 1, just the Gyakuzuki. Just the Gyakuzuki. Now if I'm trying to score a technique that I want everyone to think that I've scored, okay, whether it be in a competition, grading, dojo, etc, 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 I want to bring my Higite hand back and I want to kiai. I want to tell people and show people and sell it to people that that has scored and I've won the championship. So here, so I'm pulling this back because it's a singular technique, nothing else happens. The second technique then, Kizami Gyakuzuki. Okay, I'm bringing the hand back here when the Gyakuzuki lands, but if the front hand hits, this hand will come back. Your Higite hand in Kumite is really important because it shows your power. If your Higite hand doesn't come back, you won't score that front technique, okay, because you're not going to have the Higite power. I hope that makes sense. And most referees, most examiners, most instructors would be really mean and say, yeah, you might have tapped him on the chin, but actually you have no power because there's no Higite. So then what you do, you Higite with the other hand and you score the second technique. I hope that's correct. Okay, so second technique, Kizamazuki Gyakuzuki. Hey, change Kizamazuki Gyakuzuki and change legs. Okay, technique 3, was this Yurakan or Gyakuzuki Gyakuzuki? I think it was Gyakuzuki Gyakuzuki, so Gyakuzuki Gyakuzuki. Gyakuzuki Gyakuzuki. So one Chudan downstairs, one Jodan, and likewise you can just rotate that, so you can change that to Gyakuzuki Gyakuzuki, makes no difference. There is something about moving towards someone's face. People don't like it. Okay, none of us like a fist in the face. So I think that's a really good technique to make your opponent come off balance. And I can continue that. If I miss with those two techniques, I continue. Sukute, sukute, sukute. Keep continuing. So change next. So here, Gyakuzuki, come through here. Gyakuzuki. Once more here, Gyakuzuki, Gyakuzuki. Oh, drag me leg there. Don't be too self-critical yourself. This is me. Okay, next technique then. So this was number 4. Number 4 was a Gyakuzuki. Change arms, Yurakunuchi. So remember keeping the same height, delivering the technique here, here, etc. So nice. Keep this hammy here. So driving Gyakuzuki, Yurakunuchi. Okay, change legs. Gyakuzuki, Yurakunuchi. And it's a Gyaku Gyaku. Gyaku Gyaku. So once more, Gyakuzuki, Yurakunuchi. Okay, we now do with the same hand. So slow down, sensei. Here, here. Or here, here. Remember, if you don't bring the hand back, you can't score the first technique. It's a thing in your head as well. It's a psychological message to yourself. First technique's not scoring, so I'm going to make sure my second technique is. If my first technique is going in, my hand's going to be on my hip. It's a little tip that I'd like to say it served me well, but maybe I learnt it after I retired from Kumite. Maybe, I don't know. So Gyakuzuki Yurakunuchi. Gyakuzuki Yurakunuchi. Same hand. Gyakuzuki Yurakunuchi. Same hand. Okay, then technique number 5. 5 of our combination. 5 of our combination. Okay, so this one is the Gyakuzuki. Is that going to score or not? Maybe not. So here, sweep the leg and finish off. So here, sweep the leg and Chudan or Jodan with your punches makes no difference, depends where your person is going down. So again, Gyakuzuki, sweep the leg, Gyakuzuki. So here, Gyakuzuki, sweep the leg and depends where you are going on your opponent. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Obviously, if you're not used to doing kumite, so maybe a lower grade, a little bit of difference, a bit of fun, an element of karate that you are to learn, and we'll learn in the dojos when we get back, and hopefully we'll enjoy. So just all 5 now. Step down, jidachi, ich, iya. So gyakuzuki. Hey, come back. Kizamazuki, gyakuzuki. Gyakuzuki, gya. Gyakuzuki. Gyakuzuki, yurakunuchi. Gyakuzuki, ashibarai, ya, gyakuzuki. Change legs. Gyakuzuki, kizami, gyakuzuki. Gyakuzuki, gyakuzuki. Gyakuzuki. Oh, yurakunuchi, I was going to do the same hand. Don't change, that's what you shouldn't do. Just go with your first intention and stick with it. And then finally, gyakuzuki, ashibarai, gyakuzuki. And yamari. Us. Hope that was okay. Okay, so some little things to think about. And on Thursday's lesson, we're going to go the other side. Okay, so we're going to see what does it look like to block a gyakuzuki. And what do you do then? What is it like to block a kizami gyakuzuki? And what do you do then? What is it to block a gyakuzuki? And then what do you do then? Just see what we're going to do. So hopefully you're going to come on the opposite side of the fence. So tonight we've very much been tora, attack. Okay, and on Thursday we'll go the opposite way. So we'll be thinking of a person doing that to us. I think it's good to get the brain working like that. So again, as I said, maybe more advanced for younger students, lower grades, but maybe a start. Because if you can practice kumite safely in your own dojo, then when you come back to our dojos, you're going to feel super confident, I'd like to think, and be able to have a little bit of fun and enjoy it as much as the rest of us do. I know that the black belts and higher grades and brown belts, etc., purple belts, they love it. So it's what our dojos are built on, kumite, without a doubt. So hope that's okay. So a couple of things from me. On about 5:30 this evening, I put up our Kankudai mashup. Okay, this great idea came from Eddie, and then his son Connor did all the editing. So thanks very much, Eddie, for the idea, because I thought it was brilliant. I think a few people are doing it on the internet, various different katas. I saw Heian Yondan earlier this morning. But so this is Kankudai, and this is just a small proportion of our black belts that were able to find a bit of space. Gives you a nice vision into some of their kitchens and their gardens, I'll be honest. And anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I thought it was utterly brilliant. The way Connor's edited it, the music is superb, and it just all comes together really, really cool. It's a great concept and a great idea. So we've put the same thing out to the junior Q grades, juniors and adults. Okay, so anybody, in other words, without a black belt, and we've asked them to do Heian Shodan. We've had everybody's videos back now that I'm going to accept. I'm sorry we had to stop it at some point, and I wanted to release them both at some point this week. So the Shodan version may be ready tomorrow, just depends how busy Connor is. And then as soon as I've got hold of that, I will put that up and let you know that that's coming up onto our Facebook page. Please do look at our website. I've been updating it a little bit, and I still need to put more information on there around the Brampton and Witchford dojos. But I think it's starting to improve. I hope you agree. If there's other things you want on there, so other pictures, maybe more stories, we as instructors are going to come up with some ideas ourselves as well. And so we're updating the website as we go along. You can see that I've updated the Facebook page. I've changed the title. No longer are we Asahi Shotokan Karate, Potton, Sandy, Clifton, Gamlingay and Sky England, because that's just the world's longest title. We're just now Asahi Shotokan Karate, which involves all 6 dojos and Sky England. Okay, we are not the whole of Sky England, okay, because we still have our Bradford and Morley dojos up north with the Sensei Duggan brothers. But they have their own organisation outside of our Asahi, if that makes sense. So we are part of Sky England, and then we're part of Sky International. I hope that makes sense. And then please check out our YouTube channel. I've been putting up most of these lessons on the YouTube channel, so you can go back to them and watch them whenever you want to. You don't need to be a part of Facebook to do that. I've put up katas now with the help of Sensei Andy. Heian Shodan, Nidan, Sandan, Yondan and Godan, and then I found an old clip of me doing Teki on the beach. So there's 6 katas up there. I should put up the Kenku Dai as well on YouTube as well, hopefully some point tomorrow evening. So you're able to connect with us in as many ways as possible. Any other suggestions, I think, then come back to me. Don't be afraid to send me a message, an email, a text or whatever, just with an idea and suggestion. I look at every single one, I promise you, and I value everyone, and I sometimes am able to do some of them technically I'm not able to. People keep saying to me, why don't you do Zoom classes, Sensei? I have 2 iPhones, an old one and a new one, and I don't have a laptop. Trying to resolve that issue, but in lockdown that's not easy. So I will hopefully, at some point maybe do that in the future. But I also have heard some bad things about Zoom stuff that's not quite working for people. So, suggestions. What's my YouTube channel? It's Asahi Shotokan Karate. It's exactly the same as our dojo, Asahi Shotokan Karate. You'll spot it straight away because it's got our logo on it as well. Okay, thank you very much for joining me again this Tuesday evening. We've overrun by a few minutes, but I think hopefully you've enjoyed that lesson. I certainly have enjoyed delivering it. And Thursday I think you'll enjoy as well, seeing what the other side might look like. And remember, there's no wrong way of doing any of these. Okay, any of these techniques can be mixed and mashed up as many times as you want to, right side or left side, and you can really do your own thing. And that's the good thing about it. I used to try things all the time as a red belt in competitions. I used to love it. It's just go with it. Challenge yourself. Try something that's really, really stupid and exciting. I could tell you many stories, but we'll do that for another night of an evening with Sensei type thing. Okay, Dojo-kun. So finishing this evening. Right. Dojo-kun. Hitotsu Jinkanku kansei ni soru moto koto. Hitotsu Makato no michi o momoru koto. Hitotsu Doroko no seishin yashinao koto. Hitotsu Reigi o amonjiro koto. Hitotsu Keki no yo imashimuru koto. And right, okay, and enoi, relax, and finish there, yamei, and oisumasai, arigatou gozaimasu. Take care, jamatane, see you soon. See you Thursday, hopefully, and hopefully look forward to the Heian Shodan thing. So, just going to say goodbye to a couple of people. Good evening, Lucy and Ollie. Thank you very much for joining us. Good evening, Hartley Dojo. Thank you, Harry, for joining me. Thank you, Grace. Beth, you're very welcome. Owen, and Sensei Sharon. I will see you all later. Take care. Jamatane.